Good to go?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call this reorganization meeting of the Township Committee to order this evening. I want to thank you on behalf of the Township Committee for braving the cold, the snow, the wind, and just like the U.S. Postal Service, we're here to deliver, so we're here. I want to give apologies from Committeeman Gallagher, who you may know is under contract with Fairleigh Dickinson University, and they have kind of an emergent situation at Fairleigh Dickinson this evening. So unfortunately, he can't make his commitment this evening as part of the Township Committee, but he certainly wanted to send his apologies to all present, and certainly to the two newly elected committee persons, Mrs. Mahalko and Cahill, that he could not attend this evening. Secondly, again, due to weather conditions, because members of the Veterans Alliance come from different parts of the state, I received a call this afternoon from Mike McCrory from the Veterans Alliance, and unfortunately, they cannot be present this evening to post the colors. So at this time, I'm going to do the roll call before we get into the proceedings. And to my left, John L. Ferramasca, present.
Present.
And Ronald F. Francioli, present. We've given adequate notice to the Morris County Daily Record and the Star-Ledger and the Hanover Eagle of tonight's proceedings, and we've posted the reorganization meeting agenda on the bulletin board here at the municipal building, and also by posting on the township's website. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, I would ask you to please stand, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce the new pastor of the First Presbyterian Church of Whippany. Welcome to Reverend Sarah Caridi, the pastor, and Pastor Caridi will give the invocation at this time.
All right, let us pray. Creator of winter's storm and summer's sun, you are the song of our hearts and the true guide of our lives. As the Township of Hanover gathers on this cold night, we say thank you. Thank you for those who work on our behalf. Today was very cold. Thank you for the ones who plowed our streets and maintained our roads and water and buildings and carried our mail. Thank you for the ways they kept us warm and safe, and we pray that you will watch over them. And we thank you for the ones who continued the work of this township from their home offices. Thank you, O God, and we ask that you will provide for all who are suffering tonight in the cold, exposed to the elements. Send your spirit of wisdom upon our meeting. Give our leaders purpose and clarity, conviction and dedication. Help us to listen well and celebrate wholeheartedly the many talents and skills of those who live in and serve Hanover. We are grateful for our Township Committee and for our mayor, for our outgoing committee members and for our incoming committee members, and for all who serve and govern on our boards and committees and commissions. We thank you for their service and for the generosity with which they give their energy, intelligence, imagination, and love to their work for Hanover. Bless our town and its citizens, and bless our service and work in this coming year for the good of all people. Guide us, Great Shepherd, and make the way clear. This we pray in your many holy names. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please join us with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Pastor Caridi.
Okay, Mr. Administrator, go ahead.
Okay, as we begin our formal agenda, ladies and gentlemen, the first item of business is the reading into the record of the Statement of Determination. This is a statement of determination of the Board of Canvassers relative to an election held here in the Township of Hanover on the 7th day of November. The Board of Canvassers certify that for the term of Township Committee, Brian J. Cahill was elected to a 3-year term, and Michael A. Mahalko was also elected to a 3-year term to serve on the Hanover Township Committee. And that is signed by Ann F. Grassi, Morris County Clerk, and Lori Firo Brownstein, who is the chairwoman of the Board of Canvassers. The second statement of determination is relative to the election for the Hanover Park Regional and Hanover School Districts, also submitted by Ann Grassi and Lori Firo Brownstein. And the determination of the board is that on the 7th of November, the following members were elected to the Board of Education. James J. Herbert for a term of 3 years as a member of the Regional Board of Education. Salvatore A. Azzarello to a member of the Hanover Township Local School District for a 3-year term. Glenn Yannata for a 3-year term as a member of the Hanover Township Local Board of Education. And Gina Marie Winkler also to a 3-year term of office to the Hanover Township Board of Education. Once again, those are the determinations of the Board of Canvassers for the County of Morris. Okay, as we continue, ladies and gentlemen, at this time we will administer the oaths of office to Brian J. Cahill and Michael Mahalko. So I would ask first that Committeeman-elect Brian J. Cahill step forward. I, Brian J. Cahill,
I, Brian J. Cahill,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of New Jersey,
and the state of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
and justly perform all the duties of the office of Township Committee
all the duties of the office of Township Committee
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my abilities.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Okay, and this, Ryan's going to take his seat now.
Congratulations, Mr. Committeeman.
Thank you.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
Brian,
Thank you
welcome
very much.
aboard. Very good. Very good.
I would now ask Committeeman-elect Mahalko, Michael A. Mahalko, to step forward. And his dad.
Oh, you made it just in time. Just in time. Take your coats off.
The whole Mahalko clan.
Just in time.
A percent.
Just remember, it's Michael taking the oath, Joseph.
Don't block me. Let me into the photos, please.
Please come around,
Maya, don't block her.
that's, yeah, right there.
There you go.
I, Michael A. Mahalko,
I, Michael A. Mahalko,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States and the state of New Jersey,
of the United States and the state of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United States and in this state,
and to the governments established in the United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office of Township Committee
all the duties of the office of Township Committee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Committeeman Mahalka will now take his seat.
Congratulations, committee man. Welcome.
Thank you.
Very good. Welcome aboard, Michael. Very good.
On the way now.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll now proceed to the formal reorganization of the Township Committee and all appointments to the various boards, commissions, and committees. The next order of business,
Let me just announce guests. If
you wish.
At this point, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we'd just like to take a moment, ladies and gentlemen, to announce some guests that are with us today, both from the Freeholder Board and our sheriff. I want to start with Freeholder Director and Doug Cabana. Doug, stand up. Good. Very good. Doug will be continuing in that role this year. We look forward to working with him, that's for sure. And newly elected Freeholder Heather Darling. Heather, where are you? Stand up. And it goes without saying, and we always enjoy having him here with us, is our sheriff, Jim Gannon. Jim. Certainly you're welcome to stay here as long as you wish, but I know the schedule that you guys are keeping, so nobody's going to be offended if you find yourself having to leave. So thank you for being with us today. We look forward to working with you in 2018.
Former committee. We're listening back too.
Exactly. Former committeeman from this Township Committee, right? Robert Bruno. Bob, stand up. If nobody knows Bob by now, for God's sakes. You know? All right, very good. Just looking to see if we have other guests in the audience today. I don't see other committeemen. That's it. Mr. Administrator.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, next order of business, appointment of temporary chairman.
I'll move to appoint Joseph Giorgio as a temporary chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And the next order of business will be the regular appointments. The first is the appointment of the mayor from among the members of the Township Committee. By state statute, under the Township Committee form of government, the chairman of the Township Committee serves as the spokesman for the Township Committee. He does not have any additional powers or authority, since all 5 members have equal power and authority in serving at the pleasure of the citizens of Hanover Township. So at this time, may we have nominations for the appointment of the chairman of the Township Committee?
I'll move Ronald F. Francioli as chairman of the Township Committee.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Faramasca. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second by Mr. Cahill. Are there any other nominations at this time?
Move to close
Okay.
nominations.
Seeing that we don't have any additional nominations, we have a motion to close on the nominations. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Mr. Cahill. Now on roll call for the nomination and appointment of Ronald F. Francioli as the chairman and mayor of Hanover Township Committee. On roll call, Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalka.
Aye.
Mr. Cahill.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Abstain.
Abstain. Correct. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure and honor to turn over the gavel to
Thank you.
Mayor Francioli.
Gentlemen, thank you. Much appreciate the vote of confidence, gentlemen. I truly do. It's an honor to serve. It's an honor to serve you, and as Joe says, an honor to be a member of and a fellow committeeman voting along with you. So, on that note, we'll get right into the business at hand and on the reorganization meeting. So, Joseph, you want to?
Okay, the first
You know-
will be the roll call of the Township Committee. Committeeman Faramasca.
Aye.
Committeeman Mahalko.
Here.
Committeeman Cahill.
Here.
And Mayor Francioli.
Here.
4 members in attendance, sir. Okay. Just read this into the record.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, adequate notice of the January 4th meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by posting written notice and agenda of the meeting on the bulletin board here at the Municipal Building, 1000 Route 10 in Whippany, and by hand delivering, mailing, or faxing such notice and agenda to the following newspapers: the Morris County Daily Record, the Star Ledger, and Hanover Eagle, and by filing same with the Township Clerk. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at your agenda, you'll notice that we have one ordinance for introduction this evening. and it's docketed as ordinance number 1-2018. It's an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover, amending and supplementing Chapter 59 of the Code of the Township, entitled Board of Recreation Commissioners, with the establishment of a new Article 2, providing for the appointment of alternate members to the Board of Recreation Commissioners, all in accordance with New Jersey statutes annotated 40:12-1.1. The ordinance and the notice of introduction will appear in full in the Daily Record in accordance with law, and this ordinance will be docketed for public hearing and final hearing by the governing body on the 25th of January at 8:30 p.m., and at that time, any person wishing to be heard concerning the ordinance will be given an opportunity to speak. So at this time, may we have a motion to introduce ordinance number 1-2018?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Francioli.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ferramasca. On roll call, Mr. Ferramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalka.
Yes.
Mr. Cahill.
Yes.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So introduced, once again, this ordinance will be heard for public hearing and adoption on the 25th of January. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll proceed with the resolution authorizing various appointments, and I will be providing you with the position, the term, and the name of the appointment. First, we will already have the mayor, Ronald F. Francioli. Attorney for a one-year appointment, Fred Samrow, Esquire, and the firm of Dorsey and Samrow. Auditors, Vincent Montanino and the firm of Ferrioli, Wilcox, Cerullo, and Cuva. Deputy Township Clerk, one-year term, Catherine Iacuzzi. Municipal Prosecutor, one-year term, Peter King, Esquire. Alternate Municipal Prosecutor, Douglas Cabana, Esquire. Substitute alternate municipal prosecutors, if neither Mr. King or Cabana are available, the other prosecutors in the other 38 municipalities, all one-year terms. Public Defender, one-year term, Patrick Sages, Esquire. Court Administrator, one-year term, Lauren Dalgower. The full-time Deputy Court Administrators, one-year terms, Amy Jones, Amanda El Sayed, and Denise Bowie, who just joined the township for a 6-month probationary period. And part-time Violations Clerk, Vivian Thorson. One-year terms for the full-time deputies, except Denise Bowie, who goes through a 6-month probationary period. One-year term for the CMFO, Treasury, Utilities Collector, Tax Search Officer, Silvio Esposito. Assessment Search Officer, one-year term, Gerardo Macera. Affirmative Action Public Agency Compliance Officer, Joseph A. Giorgio. Americans with Disabilities Act Coordinator, Joseph A. Giorgio. Commissioner to the North Jersey Health Benefits Fund, one-year term, Silvio Esposito. Commissioner to the Morris County Joint Insurance Fund, one-year term, Silvio Esposito. Alternate Commissioner to the Joint Insurance Fund, Police Chief Mark Roddy, one-year term. Representatives to the Community Development Revenue Sharing Program Committee representatives, all one-year terms, Gerardo Macera, David Leo, Joseph Giorgio, and Denise Brennan. To the Morris County Airport Advisory Committee, one-year term, Kenneth C. Schleifer and Thomas Gallagher. To the Hanover Sewerage Authority, a 5-year term commencing February 1st, 2018. This is a reappointment, Dennis Dietrich. Also to the Hanover Sewerage Authority to fill the unexpired term of Joseph Schleifer, who resigned on August the 10th, the 3-year unexpired term expiring on January 31st, 2021. Dennis Fasciano. Planning Board, Class 1, by virtue of the fact that the mayor is the mayor, he serves as the Class 1 member of the Planning Board. Also, again, by statute, because he will be appointed as Director of Planning, Mr. Ferramasca will serve a 1-year term as the Class 3 member to the Planning Board. To the Board of Adjustment for a 4-year term, Michael Allwell. To the Environmental Commission, regular members, 3-year terms, Dennis Wilson, Dennis Dietrich, and John Ferramasca. To the Landmark Commission, 4-year terms, Leonardo Ferriello, Manfred Saul, and George Coppola. And then we have the new alternate 1 to the Landmark Commission, going from the alternate 2 position, will be Rachel Conti, term of office expiring 12/31/18, and a new person which is added to the Landmark Commission, Michael Knaus, as the new alternate 2, with the expiration of term on December 31st, 2019. To the Recreation Commission, 2 individuals appointed for 5-year terms of office, James Coyley and Gabriella Solis. Representative to the Whippany River Watershed Action Committee, a 1-year term, Dennis Dietrich. To the Office of Emergency Management, these are all 1-year terms, Peter Birkenkamp, Joseph Giorgio, Paul Miller, Carlos Perez, Joseph Courtwright, Chad DeGiorgio, Michael Locke, David White, James Davidson, Howard Olson, and Dale Cowley. We proceed now to the Cultural Arts Committee. Full terms, 3-year terms for George Coppola and Robert Smith, and also Joanne McHugh and Edward Pines. To the Economic Development Advisory Committee, these are all regular member positions. 1-year term, John Ferramasca, who serves as the liaison from the Township Committee to the Economic Development Advisory Committee. The following are 2-year terms of office: Daniel Breen, Richard Campbell, Ronald Francioli, Thomas Hablitzel. And also, for the same 2-year terms, Arthur Linfanti, Anthony Ficino, Robert Bruno, Jeffrey Struble, Maria Sheridan. And alternate positions to the Economic Development Advisory Committee. Alternate 2, a 1-year term, Susan Shannon. Alternate 3, a 2-year term, Maria Florio. And alternate 4 member, 2-year term, Paul Elias. To the Substance Awareness Council, the following members are appointed for 1-year terms of office: Dana Ash, Tricia Martin, Tracy Medwin, Kristen Dakak, Sibylla Dubak, Angela Freeman, Michael Leone, Thomas Gallagher, Carol Giorgio, Lisa Hall, Grace Jacobson, Kim Knaus, James Grauer, Chantel Miliziano, Peter Birkenkamp as a liaison to Project Graduation from Substance Awareness. Continuing on membership to Substance Awareness, Howard Olson, Brian Palumbo, Karen Perry, John Chowder, Sal Sino, and David Rubin. Green Team Advisory Committee, all 1-year terms of office: Severio Iannacone, Phil Glowy, John Ferramasca, Thomas Gallagher, Dennis Dietrich, Brian Foran, David Leo, John Hendricks, Dennis Wilson, Dennis Fasciano, Claire Matlin, and that's it on the Green Team. And 1 appointment to fill a unexpired term on the Community Farm and Garden Advisory Committee. 1-year unexpired term for Robert Hink. And now we will turn it over to the mayor to
Thank you, Joe.
read his appointments.
These appointments here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, these are appointments that are the honor of the chair, and I'll go over those as a. Well, you went through Dobson, you went through Olson on this, right?
No.
You want
You're gonna do them here.
quickly,
Yeah.
Michael?
Well, you know what, before you do that,
Yeah.
so we do it separately, may we have a motion as the consent agenda on the appointments and reappointments? We'll do that
Take
first.
those. Motion to
moved.
approve.
We have a motion by Mr. Ferramasca, seconded by Mr. Francioli. On roll call on the Reorganization Day appointments and reappointments, Mr. Ferramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalko.
Aye.
Mr. Cahill.
Aye.
and Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
And now we'll proceed with the
Okay.
mayor's
These-
appointments.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are known as mayor's appointments, and this is the honor of the chair. But these appointments have been discussed by the Township Committee and have received the approval and the consent of all members of our Township Committee going forward. So on that note, a Class 4 member for 4 years to the Board of Adjustment would be, to the Planning Board will be Michael Critchley. A Class 4 alternate member, 2 years, Planning Board, Russell Dobson. A Class 4 alternate 2 member for 1 year, taking the place of now the Honorable Michael Mahalko, will be Howard Olson. A Class 2 member, 1 year for the Planning Board, will be William Byrne. William Byrne on that. Okay. You need a motion?
Yes,
these
on
as
that,
well?
may we have a motion to approve the mayor's appointments to the
moved.
planning board? So moved by Mr. Faramasca.
Second?
I have a second by Mr. Mahalko. On roll call, Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalko.
Yes.
Mr. Cahill.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you,
we'll
Mayor.
we'll do these?
Let's see, next thing,
Might as well. And then you can go into,
you want to do the
yeah.
other
Yeah,
resolutions?
ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do
Committee assignments.
is we're going to do the rest of the committee assignments and commissions and assignments throughout the township. This list represents all of the persons who have volunteered time and effort to sit on various boards, sit on various commissions throughout the township. These are some reappointments, some new appointments, but I'll try and go through them very quickly. And I'm going to start with the Township Committee responsibility, because each one of your committeemen has a certain responsibility within the township. They're given either directorships or liaisonships, and they answer to the Township Committee in those areas. So starting at the top, where the chair is concerned, and the office of the mayor, mayor serves as Director of Administration and Finance, Personnel and Violations Bureau, Municipal Court, Class 1 planning member, as was said earlier by the administrator, member of the Board of Health, alternate 1, member ex officio, member to EDAC, Economic Development Advisory Committee, member of the Community Farm and Garden Advisory Committee, as well as being liaison to the library. And on liaison to the library, I will serve in that role and be assisted by Committeeman Michael Mahalko. Okay, on that. You need a motion on all of these, or we want to take them as
Take them as a whole.
All right, take them as a whole. In the area of vice chair, in the absence of the chair, deputy mayor, director, Director of Planning and Zoning, Engineering Departments, Class 3 member to the Planning Board, liaison to EDAC, Environmental Commission and Green Team member is Deputy Mayor John L. Faramasca. Okay. Director of Recreation, Parks Administration, Department Liaison to the Open Space Advisory Committee, Liaison to the Southeast Morris Utilities Authority, Liaison to the Senior Citizens Club, and to the Veterans Alliance will be Committeeman Michael A. Mahalko. The Buildings Department Director, Liaison to the Police Department, Board of Fire Commissioners, Office of Emergency Management, Hanover Sewage Authority, and the Landmark Commission will be Committeeman Brian Cahill. Okay. Carrying on in his present role as Director of Department of Public Works, Buildings and Grounds, Parks Maintenance, Property Maintenance Office, Liaison to Cultural Arts Committee and the Substance Awareness Council, and the Bid Reception Committee will be Thomas A. Gallagher, Committeeman Gallagher. Okay. Liaison to the local and regional school districts. Very important and critical job to Township Committee that this liaisonship bring forth information and current activities between these two bodies, both the governing body and the school board. Thomas A. Gallagher will serve on that committee, as well as Brian J. Cahill, Committeeman Cahill. Liaison to Schools and Park Safety Advisory Committee will be Committeeman Thomas A. Gallagher and Brian J. Cahill. And unless there's another side to this, Liaison to the Morris County Airport Advisory Committee, Kenneth Schleifer and Committeeman Thomas A. Gallagher. And that takes care of those, Mr. Administrator.
Okay, as a consent agenda, may we have a motion on the approval of committee assignments? So moved by Mr. Faramasca.
Second?
We have a second by Mr. Mahalko. On roll call, Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalko.
Yes.
Mr. Cahill.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved.
Okay.
You want me to go to the other consent agenda now?
Yeah, why not? Go ahead.
Okay. So on page 2, you have other resolutions which are listed, 1 through 14. We take them as a consent agenda. May we have a motion on the resolutions that are listed on page 2 as other resolutions?
Motion you do is turn
We
your
have a
phone
motion by
off.
Mr. Cahill,
Second.
second by Mr. Faramasca. On roll call, Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalko.
Yes.
Mr. Cahill.
Yes.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved. And, Mr. Chairman, that clears the agenda of the Administrator, Township Clerk. Thank you.
Joseph, thank you. And, just to begin, shortly you'll hear from members of the Township Committee, certainly our 2 new members. We want to welcome them and congratulate them, and certainly congratulate them for their commitment to serving their Hanover Township. We look forward, as a Township Committee, working together with you in the future, and I'm sure, going forward, we're going to have a very, very successful relationship with them as well. So we welcome you. And on that note, before we get into some comments from both Deputy Mayor and myself, I'm going to turn the floor over first to our new committeeman, and I'll start by the very end of the table. So the Honorable Michael Mahalko.
Thank you very much.
Mahalko, you have the floor.
All right.
Joe, you got time. Your
This
plane
is-
was canceled today. You don't leave for Florida for a while.
This is typically the time when we report on our assignments, and being new, we don't have a whole lot to report. But I would like to take this moment to say thank yous. First of all, I look around, thank you all for coming out, and I'm seeing people, yes, there's some that have vested interest, and some that are here just like I am here because we have concerns about our town, because we love our town. Thank you guys for coming out. I want to start off by thanking my wife and family, just in the nick of time. But I really want to thank them for their support, for their understanding, and I hope that my children, especially my younger ones, understand why when they say, oh, you have another meeting? I'm doing this for a reason. I'm doing it because I love our town. I wanted to stand up for something. I wanted to make sure our town was being governed correctly, and I felt the need to do it. It's not because I want to be out of the house. It's because I have a need, and hopefully my children will learn that when they see something that's going awry or something they don't like, that they will take action. And not by going on Facebook and complaining, but going and doing something about it. I really need to thank my friends and my supporters and the rest of my family also, who've been very instrumental for me getting here and for the things that I have learned throughout my life. Thank them all so much. There were so many. I was really honored and privileged to have so many people helping me, and people that I didn't, that I even loosely knew, coming up and really patting me on the back and saying thank you for running, and I really appreciate their support and the efforts that they did, making phone calls, signs. It was really amazing. I was really again humbled by the support that I received. That also brings me back to why I'm doing it. Is we need to be involved in our town. This is not just me up here or the 5 of us up here dictating. We need everyone to step up, to do a little bit of part, to get on a committee, to get on a commissionership, to get on a board and help out. It's important that we're all involved. That's the crux of our government, is participation. We are not a dictatorship. We are a participation government. It's important. Even if it's just coaching us a ball team, we need to get out, we, as a whole. And many hands makes light work, and it's important that we all take that to heart. I also want to thank the sitting committeemen. Thank you very much. They've been very embracing, very helpful. They really brought us in, Brian also, and started showing us the ropes right away. I also want to thank Mr. Bruno. Talk about some big shoes to fill, literally. Yeah, Mr. Bruno, and he took us out to breakfast and really, had just an informal, nice conversation for a while, and I really appreciate that. Amongst all the other guidance, and Mr. Coppola also, amongst the other guidance that they've given us, and also Mr. Giorgio, Krista, and the staff here, again, very welcoming. I feel very welcome, and I think that will help us be a functional board, and we can move forward. When it comes to my assignments, I'm very excited. I think I got some of the best ones. Open space, veterans. We actually had an event last night, the Marine Corps Social last night. It was, again, another honor for me to be representing our town there, and it was a very nice function. I saw some friends there again, I enjoyed going. Looking forward to working with the senior citizens. I have quite a few friends there too, and I love when they catch my ear, and I love to have conversations and the debates that go along with it. I'm really looking forward to working with that. Also very excited about being director of Rec. I am very enthusiastic about working with Denise and Tom, who I've worked with for years. I see you back there slouching, Tom. And now we're on the other end, and hopefully we can move some things forward. I asked Denise just to quickly put some stuff together, and she gave me a list that you guys would kill me if I read through all of the stuff that the rec department does. And one of the things that jumped out, I don't want to get into stats and all of that, but one of the things that jumped out was that there are an average of 1,550 visitors a month to the rec center. So it's a very active group for such a small town that we have. I think that was, again, all the other stuff that she forwarded to me, that really stuck in my mind, how active it is. We also have, chili cook-off. One of the big things that's coming up, very exciting, is the completion of the Brickyard Fieldhouse. Hopefully the end of the spring, early summer, that should be up and going. Personally, I'd like to see a couple more of these sprung up around town. Maybe we can work on stuff like that. Also, the revitalization of Upper Malapartis Park, repairing the tennis courts, new lights, and also an artificial, I believe they're looking at putting in an artificial ice surface, which Mr. Bruno had touched on the other day. Also, too, again, working with the B Meadow Pool. These are places that I've grown up with. I still have my 1974 badge. So it's a pleasure and an honor to be able to work instrumentally with those groups. As I said before, this is not an I, it's a we. And I want to hear from the people. I want to hear input, good and bad. And let us know. Give us your suggestions, and hopefully we can implement some of them. So, again, looking forward to working with everyone. Thank you very much.
Michael, well said. Well said. Honorable Brian Cahill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to warn you, I'm going to read to you, but I promise not to take any more time than Committeeman Mahalko, but a lot to cover. But anyway, let me begin by first thanking my family and friends for all the support they provided me this past year. Even a small local campaign such as the one for Township Committee can't succeed without the kind of backing and help that I received from everybody. I'd like to especially thank my campaign manager, who also happens to be my wife, Susan. Whether it was coaching too many youth sports teams or serving the students of Hanover Township for 10 years, or now serving as a Hanover Township committeeman, you've always stood by me to offer encouragement, support, and even an occasional push when needed. As the mayor told you on election night, it looks like we won't be seeing much of each other going forward. Well, I'm afraid that he's right. So I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to need to move our date night to Monday mornings. But thank you, and thank you to everybody, sincerely, very, very much. I'd like to take a few moments to offer some highlights and some commentary on the areas of municipal business that I'll be working closely with in 2018, beginning with public safety. So the Hanover Township Police have been busy. In 2017, they responded to 36,196 calls, so a very, very busy department. Contrast that to 10 or 20 or 25 years ago, it's a huge difference. Not only are our officers busy with their core duties, they're also involved in a number of community programs and activities. So, for example, the Not Even Once program, which is an intense 3-day heroin and opiate addiction prevention initiative that was recently delivered to the high school juniors by police, educators, as well as people that have been directly impacted by addiction. So, a very powerful program. Moving to the grammar schools, this month, Hanover Township Police will be implementing the LEAD program, intended for 5th graders. LEAD stands for Law Enforcement Against Drugs and requires that officers be certified to deliver a specialized curriculum to their younger students. Fact is, our police are very, very busy. They are involved in a lot of other programs and activities, and really just too many to list here. The Whippany and Cedar Knolls fire districts have been quite busy as well. Collectively, they've answered over 3,200 fire, medical, and emergency calls in 2017, and have also sponsored, as we all know, supported and participated in numerous community programs and events. So I'll be sharing more details on our fire department's activities as well as the Office of Emergency Management in future committee meetings, because again, a lot of activity. Overall, my goal this year is to help ensure all of our first responders have the tools and resources to continue their good work. Moving to education, I'm sharing that role with Ace Gallagher. I've spent close to 10 years serving on the local school board, so I know firsthand what it takes to provide a quality education to our children. While our student population has remained stable and is forecast to remain that way in the future, our schools are still under intense pressure to deliver a quality education with the limited resources they have. So as liaison to the schools, I'll maintain that strong relationship that already exists between our school districts and the township government. Moving on to the building department, which has also been busy this year, 2017. Sean Donlin and his team have generated close to $1 million last year in fees associated with permits, fines, inspections, COs, and so on. There are currently 9 significant commercial projects in progress right now, and I'm sure there'll be several more likely to start in the coming year. The Hanover Township Sewage Authority. They've managed to keep up with development activities in town thanks to effective long-term planning and strategic infrastructure upgrades over the years. This year, the Sewage Authority worked closely with our engineering department to ensure over 5 miles of underground piping were inspected prior to the major roadwork projects that took place throughout the town. Also, for the 28th year in a row, the HSA received certification by the National Association of Clean Water Agencies, and for the 19th year in a row, it received an award by the Joint Insurance Fund for Safety. The authority also received an Association of Environmental Authorities Best Practices Award, so congratulations. As our community continues to evolve, it's more important than ever to preserve our roots. Hanover Township has a rich history dating back over 340 years. It is the mission of the Landmark Commission to preserve historical treasures within Hanover and to educate the community about them. This year will be the 300-year anniversary of the Whippany Burying Yard. Look for more information on the activities planned for this major milestone in the years as the year progresses. If you haven't done so, I'd also suggest that you take a look at the Landmark Commission's historical tour guide. It's called Journey Through Old Whippany. There's probably some copies out in the lobby there. Some very, very interesting historical information in there. So I look forward to working closely with the Landmark Commission in their efforts to preserve and celebrate Hanover's fascinating history. So in conclusion, I'd like to thank Mr. George Coppola, Mr. Bob Bruno for their years of service as Township Committeemen. Their hard work and dedication contributed greatly to the current success of Hanover. And as you heard during committee and board appointments, both gentlemen continue to remain active in service to the community. Thanks also to Mayor Francioli, Deputy Mayor Ferramosco, Committeeman Gallagher, as well as Joe Giorgio and Krista DiGiorgio for welcoming Committeeman Mahalco and me to the team and making our transition to the new role seamless and quite easy. So I look forward to working with the members of the committee, the administration, and most importantly, Hanover's residents as we work to make Hanover a continued success. So thank you very much.
I think we're off to a damn good start. And I would like, once again, to not only congratulate a new committeeman, but it goes without saying that they've got some big shoes to fill. And so in that, we recognize the efforts of George Coppola for quite some time for our Township Committee. George is amazing. Even in his last days of serving your township, never missed a beat. Meeting-wise, etc., kept up with everything that he was to do, and right to this moment, has produced meeting notes and opinions and goals going forward, and we do appreciate that. We will also miss the service of Bob Root, and Bobby was tremendous with us on the Township Committee. I've always sat here, and Bobby knows I always looked at him and I said I always appreciated his unemotional approach to problem solving, and I think I'm going to miss that. Maybe I'm not going to miss that. I hope, maybe I, and that's not meant in a negative way. Maybe we're going to see that, and I certainly hope I'm going to see that to my new colleagues here as well. That they will look at problems, they will look at solutions, and they will come up with results. And I think that's the critical thing for us here to go. So again, we welcome our new committeemen as we go forward. I'm going to turn the floor right over to Deputy Mayor John Faramasca for his remarks, and then I'll close the session, and we'll have some food and we'll talk some more. Okay, so John?
Great. My reorganization thoughts will focus on what I call the 3 R's, which is recognition, reflection, and resolutions. Let's begin with the word recognition, special word, and acknowledgement of the department heads and the board leaders who really make things happen in Hanover Township and make this township a great one. Planning Board, Board of Adjustment, Blaise Branchow, Kimberly Bongiorno, Chairman Gene Pinadella, along with Ben Stanzial. Engineering, led by Jerry Massera, David Leo, and the entire staff. Our EDAC Chairman, Dan Breen. Environmental Chair, Dennis Wilson, and Green Team Chairman, Phil Glowy. Thanks also goes out to our Business Administrator, Joe Giorgio, who's kind of like the orchestra leader, and his staff, along with the Mayor and my fellow committee members, for their support in keeping Hanover a great, affordable place to live. I'd like to also thank Mr. Bruno and Mr. Coppola for all their contributions to keeping Hanover Township a great place. Special thanks and appreciation goes out to my wife, Kathy, who couldn't be here tonight. She's got an ailment, but she has provided significant support, counsel, express, and especially what I call her express gourmet meeting night dinners, and handling the bulk of the chores around the house as I spend time serving the people in Hanover Township. Moving on, reflecting upon the past year, one phrase clearly stands out: great things happened in Hanover. Consider the following. EDAC. EDAC led the way, attracting quality and prestigious, iconic names to improve our rateable base while preserving quality of life. We welcome Wegmans, nationally recognized shopping center, to Hanover Township, which had a spectacular, record-breaking opening day crowd drawing over 24,000 shoppers day one. Hanover Crossings has contributed to what we call the reinvention of Hanover Avenue, with the addition of stores like Home Goods, TJ Maxx, Old Navy, Five Below, and Ulta. EDAC also completed an important strategic blueprint framework called Hanover 2026, which identifies strategies and guides for Hanover to redevelop in a proper way over the next 10 years. That's an important document. It's available on the Township website. I encourage you to review it when you have an opportunity. The Planning Board was busy. Boy, were they busy. They were working on strategies and plans to help shape the future of our town. They completed a state-mandated major re-exam of the master plan. They completed a plan which they worked on for over 2 years to pave the way to support what we call the reinvention of the Route 10 corridor. I know we've all waited along for this, but this year, 2018, there will be significant focus on the Route 10 corridor. We also addressed state-mandated affordable housing plan requirements in a manner which is supportive and conducive to the suburban life which we enjoy in Hanover Township. Engineering. Engineering 2017 was all about infrastructure. It was roads, roads, and roads, and more. 12 local roads were repaved, including major ones such as Ridgedale Avenue and Malapartis, along with county roads, Whippany and Parsippany roads. The projects required over 15,000 tons of asphalt, and all in all, over 5 miles of roadway was resurfaced. And this was supported by engineering pursuing over $250,000 in grants from New Jersey State. North Jefferson Road has not been forgotten. North Jefferson Road will be paved in the spring of 18. That's my commitment, first road up in 2018. However, these major roads and infrastructure improvements would never have been possible without a team effort. Engineering had the lead responsibility, but Brian Ferrand's DPW stepped up big time in terms of coordination, in terms of HSA, Hanover Sewage Authority, who helped TV under road lines to make sure that there was nothing problematic beneath those roads, because we don't want to have our new roads broken apart. And along with our police department led by Chief Roddy for some amazing safety protocols, helping people, especially with Whippany and Parsippany Road closures. There were also major improvements at the B Meadow Pool. At Town Hall, there was LED lighting and there was security systems installations. Arborist activities included Tree City USA designation once again, Arbor Day celebrations at our local schools, and a free tree seedling giveaway. This year we gave away seedlings. In 2018, we're going to give away trees again. From an environmental and a green team standpoint, this was led by Dennis Wilson and Phil Glowy, and Hanover Township earned the distinction of being a silver certified community for environmental initiatives. This is significant within the state of New Jersey. Hanover Green Team provides you with widespread initiatives ranging from the free paper shred days, the rain garden projects, as well as energy fairs. The last R is resolutions. I look forward to working this new year with my fellow committeemen and new committeemen, Mr. Cahill and Mr. Bruno, along with the business administrator, the department heads, and the municipal staff, to ensure that Hanover Township remains a great, affordable place to live, work, and play. My goals this year will be in the following areas: engineering, roads, improvements, and more; planning, smart development efforts to guide the reinvention of the Route 10 corridor. This is a major undertaking. It's going to take time, but the planning board is up to it and is willing to tackle it. Economic development, EDACs, marketing efforts to attract quality businesses. We want to bring quality businesses to Route 10. We want to bring quality businesses to Cedar Knolls Mall. Let any of the committeemen know if you have a business that you think might be a good fit, and we will pursue it. And lastly, environmental achievements. We are going to go back and try to pursue and get recertification or silver certification status for Hanover Township. This year also marks the end of my term. It's been a great pleasure and an honor to serve the people of Hanover, and it's my intention to seek re-election this year in order to continue my service to the people of Hanover Township. Mayor, that concludes my remarks.
Thank you, John. Very good. John has served as deputy mayor for some time now, and he's been integral to much of the progress that we've made here. That's what makes Hanover very special. As a team, we work together very, very closely in all of our areas to try and get problems solved in Hanover moving forward. I want to wish everybody a very, very happy New Year. That goes without saying. 2018 is with us. Everyone here, a healthy, successful, profitable New Year as we go forward. I also want to mention at this particular time, and I know the administrator, we certainly we have mixed emotions about what I'm going to be about to say, but this year, after some 40 years of service, Joseph Giorgio will be leaving at the end of 2018. He will be retiring from his position as administrator. I have a personal attachment to Joseph. We both took these seats together some near 40 years ago and served, and we've grown, and Joe has served Hanover quite well. He's been a guiding light to Hanover He's helped set the bar high for Hanover in all that he's done. His ethics are impeccable, absolutely impeccable. We'll have a difficult time replacing Joseph after all he has done, but we wish him and Carol all the success in his retirement, which he's worked so hard for and is certainly entitled to. And in his leaving Hanover Township, as they say, we wish all the best to you and your wife as you go forward, Joseph. Thank you. Very good. John Faramasca always opens up his comments at regular committee meetings with, "It's all about roads." Well, I'm going to open up my comments a little differently. It's all about stability and continuity here in Hanover. We remain a revolving landscape here in Hanover, but I want to talk about your town as it's seen going forward, the stability of your town. We've accomplished a lot since the difficult times of 2008. You've all heard that. And with the advent of the Bayer corporations coming on to us, with the MetLifes joining us, we've had the Tiffany's, we've got the Wegmans, and our rateable base has swelled and grown beautifully. All of this has contributed to the stability of this township. We've added $40 million worth of new rateable base onto the township this year, and the financial officer stands to correct me, I think we're near $4 billion in gross rateables in the township now. Now, that may not mean a lot to you, a lot of us sitting here. It's just a number. I always tease about it. I say, if you write a check for $4 billion, we'll give you Hanover. But that being the case, that is all part of the strength and stability of your town. And we ask ourselves, we know how it came about. It came about with a lot of hard work. It came about by the threat that your township had some years ago of losing such rateables as Lucent Corporation, etc. And like any company, like any business, when that company like that pulls out and you lose an account like that, you're hurting. And the township rose to the occasion, and I think they did a very valiant job of putting on the Wegmans of the Wegmans of the world, etc., and the other corporations. Wegmans, by the way, is such a success story. I know we have ShopRite, and that too is a success story, and ShopRite's expanding with you. You probably heard about their new restaurant that's coming in now too, now that they're able to use their liquor license under certain conditions. Wegmans brought with them new jobs, 500 new jobs in Hanover Township. These aren't people that they took from other areas. These are new jobs that they brought in with them. And the success story of Wegmans was so good, they added another 50. So that's 550 new jobs that came in with them. Barclays Bank will be coming in with it shortly, as you know that. This was the property at Jefferson Roads and Cedar Knolls Roads. That's, goes back to a point when Chase Bank was using that property. Barclays now acquired the entire property and will take it over. It will be one of their principal international-based offices for a back office. Will there be improvements to Barclays as well in the multi-million-dollar range? Yes. Will it be beneficial improvements for all the neighbors? And you probably heard a lot about the expansion of Barclays coming into this site. Yes, it'll be beneficial to all of us. We all don't like change in our town. We all don't like change, whether it's good, whether it's bad. But in the end, the changes that we are making in this town have mostly been for the good and benefit. It's benefited us in every way. It's made environmental cleanups in this town that you did not have to pay for. It's brought back improvements in road conditions, traffic in this town. Intersections that were failed intersections are now improved intersections. And to that end, we appreciate all of our new neighbors who have made these contributions, not only in the infrastructure, but they're contributing as neighbors in your community, just like you and I. They're backing our recreation department. They're backing us with programs that they have in areas of public safety as well, and they're there when we need them, and we want to say how much we appreciate them. But there are other things to be appreciated in the stability of our town, and that is our property values in our homes. By the way, this has been one of the lowest years for any new building starts in Hanover Township where residentials are concerned. And that's a conservative picture. But the stability takes place in your home values here as well. fantastic school systems, goes without saying. Mike Bosco, Carol Grassi, both superintendents of the two are doing a wonderful job with our children. And because they're doing a wonderful job with our children, our home values and our homes become more valuable to people that want to come to Hanover and get the benefit of that education as well. So we thank them as we go forward in this new year. This year, we also, on a financial end, some years ago, you remember we employed a hotel room tax in Hanover Township, and your town was one of the first to go down to Trenton and beat the drum for a hotel room tax. We got it, and we were rubbing our hands together. We expected our 9%, but the governor took 6. We only got 3. But that's the way it goes. But now, with the hotels that you have in town and the low impact of those hotels, I underscore that, nearly, Silvio, $1 million? $1 million net into you. Now, you would have raised $1 million in taxes if I were to convert that. I don't want to tell you what that would have to be. So that's a phenomenal feat that we accomplished in town. We're doing more. Ms. Faramasca has been working with a group to do more work, as you know, on our Patriots Path. Some of us know it as Patriots Path. It's a connectivity plan, fancy word. It's recreational trails and paths that are going to weave through our township in all ways. We finished phase 1. We will be going on to additional phases. We will connect ourselves with other towns. You'll be bicycling, roller skating, jogging, walking. Guys like me will be crawling. And but that trail system will be a big benefit not only to we residents, but it's a desirable benefit to all of our commercial ratables in our township as well. Economic development in this town is defined by our EDAC. The mission for EDAC now has focused on business retention. Business retention is critical. We're seeing it down in the trenches. We know the problems we have with our Pine Plazas. We know the problems that we have with our Morris County's mall. We know what some of those problems are. They're tired. They're in great need of being reinvented. And when we have projects like Hanover Crossings on Hanover Avenue and Ridgedale Avenue, that is such a success, that should tell some of these other property owners what they have to do to take the lead and to compete. Otherwise, new starts like this are going to eat their lunch. Are they going to come in for other uses? God bless them. They're certainly entitled to do that. We've heard much in the community about these various uses. You heard Committeeman Mahalko talk about we. Well, we listen too, and we know that Morris County Mall is not going to turn into a condominium haven. That seems to be, the buzz there. And Pine Plaza, which is looking at mixed uses, will have to really prove itself before anything is changed there. We're working very, very hard through EDAC to try and find suitable uses for there as well. But in any event, it just punctuates for us going forward the stability of your town in all ways, fiscally as well. I'm very hopeful, as the Township Committee is, and I'm hopeful working with the financial officer, et cetera, that we can deliver to you once again a very, very low tax rate, if tax rate, in the coming year. That's a municipal tax rate. For several years, it was 0. And the year before that, year after that, I say it grew about 1/4%. Now to last year, I think 1/3%. So why the hell are my taxes going up, Mr. Francioli? Well, the issue is that we do our very, very best here in municipal to keep your taxes down, subsidized by many of the things you heard. You heard what our buildings department just brought in the area of fees and permits. Our court, near the same. We've combined with East Hanover with a joint court system, and it's been very, very productive with that, and we'll go forward with that as well. The areas of increase that we're watching closely, and they're doing their very, very best, is education. Now, 60 cents of our dollar, I've always said it goes to education. We don't deny them 1 penny of that. They're getting a fine education out of that. But at the very same time, we have to be cognizant of the fact that our child population is not growing, it's going down. It's continued to go down. And it's been going down over the last 5 years. It will continue in that fashion from the reports that we've gotten, from the information that we're getting from our superintendents. And I'm sure on the education side, I expect that Committeeman Cahill and Gallagher will certainly be monitoring that for it as well. The infrastructure needs are there, certainly. S&W doesn't go down, salaries and wages never goes down. That will impact us as well, but we'll be watching that. But going forward, we are in a wonderfully healthy position here in Hanover Township. Thanks to you all. God bless you all. God bless our Hanover as we go forward. So thank you all. Finally, I'd like to add to what I've heard, and it goes without saying that we thank our wives for all the time that they allow us to put in and serve here, all the times that we're away from home. Many, many evenings. So to Kathy Faramasca, to Sheila Gallagher, Andy, you're gonna notice this. Susan, you're gonna notice this. To Phyllis Capola, to Sharon Bruno, it's all. We thank you all for allowing us to sit here and serve the community the way we do. So thank you very, very much. So God bless Hanover. It's a vibrant future, one that will last in stability for the days ahead. Regardless of any of us in this community, we will move forward on sound footing, fiscal conservancy, and quality upscale uses for our fine residents. Hanover remains strong, fiscally sound, and the Township Committee will come together and work toward a community of great resources and families, education, sports, athletic, recreation needs, and quality businesses. We will stay focused on the quality of life issues that affect us every day, and we will continue to clean up our environment, add to our open space and parks land, preserve the rich history of Hanover. So I thank you all very much. God bless Hanover. Thank you. On that note, Mr. Administrator.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand, and at this time, we will ask Reverend Karate to offer the prayer of benediction.
Okay, let us pray together. God of service, God of good gifts, God of calling, we thank you for tonight's work, and we thank you for the joy and privilege of serving this good town. And so we ask, send us out in hope and lead us to fulfilling work and pastimes. Send us out in trust and lead us to work for and with our neighbors. Send us out in peace and lead us safely home. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out this evening. We have lots of food, so don't leave without eating a lot. This meeting is adjourned.
Good job. Thank you, Joe. Mr. Mayor, well done. Very good there, guys.
Of course, I walk out and then it's one of the apples.